through storms, unshaken, unbowed. From trials and verdicts, still standing proud. A titan in the tempest, against the raging crowd. He's got a vision for the future, gonna shout it aloud. Change in the wind, it's coming fast. A new foundation built to last. Cryptocurrency's the key, make the big switch. Power to the people, time to teach the rich. Legal battles can't hold him, he's moving on. With plans so bold, from dusk till dawn. He's rewriting the rules, a new dawn's day. From the hands of the few to the people's way.
Welcome, everyone, to the Crazy Kryptonaut channel. I am Zester, and happy Trump Day to everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining for this auspicious day of the week. Remember, it's not Hump Day, it's Trump Day, and it's going to be that at least for the next couple of weeks until we have got Trump sitting in the White House. And so hope everyone is doing amazing. What is up, Gary 7? Absolutely our official, I'd say court jester, Gary 7. I don't know if we can, I don't know if that's considered an offensive title nowadays, but court jester, or definitely purveyor of the finest of dad puns. I don't know. We need a title for you, Gary, but thank you so much for being here. What is up, Kukla? Thank you for all you do, and I hope you're having an amazing Trump day. And it sounds like, well, Chicago weather today is sunny, cooler, a high of 62. I don't know if for Chicago that's a particularly good temperature for October 23rd, or if that's a chilly temperature. And so you're going to have to let me know on that one. Gary 7 says, for some reason, my YouTube notification is not showing this show. I got it from the Telegram link. Gary, I am hearing that one from a lot of folks. Apparently, a couple weeks ago, my show quit popping up on notifications. And so there is a large portion of the community that is not being informed when my shows go live. I am not certain why. I could guess. We tends to be, when in doubt, blame our corporate overlords, but I don't have any proof, in all honesty. And so that's a weird one, Gary. I'm not certain. I know that I've had folks telling me that they suddenly got unsubscribed. They had clicked notifications and the notifications got turned off. I'm not certain, Gary. I'm not certain what the tech guys are up to over at Google, but I'm certain that the election coming up has nothing at all to do with it, and that it in no way is in regards to the fact that we currently sit on the precipice of probably the most important election in U.S. American history. That might be a part of it. That would be my guess, is that everybody's kind of getting a crackdown. What's up, Mary Jones? I hope you're having an amazing one. And guys, we are going to get right into the news as soon as I make certain to say hello and get through my obligatory disclaimer. And so what's up, Bear and Linda Hearn, George Yukovich? How are you all doing? Here we go. We got a Gary 7 joke. My home stereo system recently got elected as a member of the House of Representatives. They're now the Speaker of the House. I don't know, Gary. I'm going to have to look in and see if there was any election fraud in regards to your home stereo system winning that one. I have a feeling that it might be a part of the deep state. Does it have deep bass? What's up, Flying Squirrel? Saying hello to all of the crazy Kryptonauts. Oh, Bear, having a very difficult day. 14 years ago, 15-hour spine surgery, Some experiments done on me failed. Working leg got 70% back. I am sorry to hear about that, Bear. I hope that things are going well now. And fingers crossed, we're going to start getting a lot of these answers from the medical industry very, very soon, because we know they have got the answers for so many of the ailments we are currently dealing with. And, well, they don't give them to us. Apparently, it's either not the right time or they don't make enough money curing things. And I think the doesn't make enough money curing things is probably a pretty big part of it. Kimberly Oberman, what is up? I love your little flying squirrel there. And I imagine you've got to be Flying Squirrel. Flying Squirrel 89 and Kimberly. All right. I'm gonna make some guesses there, Flying Squirrel. What is up? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Musical Lady. Oh, David, thank you so much for the apple, and Bear coming in with a green and a red apple today. Thank you, guys. And of course, Neil Brooks, howdy Zester. Howdy Zester from 78-degree and sunny Graham, North Carolina. Finally made it to another live. What's up, Neil? Welcome back. And I am very glad to get my update on the North Carolina weather. 78 degrees is not that bad for Graham this time of year. That is not too bad. That's probably a little warm. And thank you, Kukla. Please keep in mind, guys, that anything and everything shared on the Crazy Kryptonaut channel, whether it is by me, Zester, or anybody else, is intended for education and entertainment purposes alone and should not be viewed as professional, financial, legal, spiritual advice, or professional advice of any other form or fashion. Please consult with a professional before making any major decisions. Thank you so much, Kukla. It's an important one. And sorry, guys, for anybody I miss with the hellos, but I'm going to go ahead and get us on to our news of the day. And I'm certain I'll get to see you in just a second. All right. What are the markets looking like? We continue to remain in what I would really state as being just a sense of uncertainty, a state of uncertainty, in all honesty, based around the election and based around a lot of the different endorsements, decisions, and things that are coming out from a variety of different crypto companies. And so Bitcoin sitting at $66,485.28. We're down 1.2% over the past 24 hours. Ethereum sitting at 2,500, essentially down 4.6% over the past 24 hours. And when we come down and we look at XRP, down 1.6%, we're sitting at 52 cents. Of course, just judging by the title of today's live stream, that we're going to be talking a bit about Ripple and what's going on there. And so that one is one where from our Monday conversation, we've got a little bit more information, and we've really kind of got an indication that there is a lot of politics going on inside of the Ripple team. We're actually going to dive into a bit of a conspiracy theory that I kind of covered on Monday in regards to why we're seeing Ripple Labs kind of splitting themselves between two political parties. We've got Chris Larson, co-founder of Ripple Labs, over there supporting Kamala Harris. And then we got Brad Garlinghouse over there, current CEO and co-founder of Ripple Labs, over there supporting effectively all Republican candidates. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but I do want to actually cover something that I had talked about at Crypto. I had talked about recently, because we're going to be covering it later in the show. Chainlink sitting down 5.9% over the past 24 hours at $11.25. Looking over a year, we'll see that $11.25, nothing close to the $21 that it was sitting at back in March of this same year. And so we're going to be talking a little bit about it. And we're going to be going into the Ripple Labs drama. The Ripple Labs. All right. What's up, Kathy Mayhall and GG? Oh, that is too bad. Mile High Trish was not able to join today. I hope that she does not have anything going on extraordinary in life. That is not good news. Trish is awesome. Mary Jones, I did my civic duty and voted early yesterday. This is the first time I voted early. Too big to rig. Absolutely, Mary Jones. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking about some of that stuff, well, during Whiskey and Wisdom this evening. Hopefully, it's not taking up too much of the time or making the stream into anything too serious, but I've been doing a lot of math and research on early voting numbers. And so, Mary Jones, you having voted early for the first time is actually not a just you thing. It turns out for the first time in US history, Republicans are voting early. This has not ever really happened. As a matter of fact, we have North Carolina numbers that show that at the same time before the election, around 800,000 Democrats had already cast their vote for Joe Biden, and only around 200,000 Republicans had cast their vote for Donald Trump in the state of North Carolina up to this date in terms of the 2020 election. This year, what we're actually seeing is we're seeing an even split. 417,000 versus 426,000 having voted early. We're effectively seeing an absolute tied race in early voting in North Carolina. A very clear indication that Republican voting habits have changed. Republicans are voting early, and that's not something we've ever done before. And it is for anyone kind of taking those numbers and doing a little bit of assuming, it would seem as if it's becoming very apparent, even in early voting, that Republicans are going to win in a landslide. But do not take that for granted. Please, guys, make certain that you are just like Mary Jones and that you are out there voting. Vote early, vote on time, vote whenever you possibly can. If they'll let you vote twice, well, don't do that because that's cheating. But otherwise, get that vote in and make certain it counts and check. You can go on and check in the vast majority of states and counties after the election to ensure that your vote was counted properly. All right. Oh, Kukla is going in and voting tomorrow. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right. Let's get back to it, though. I'll get distracted by all of the fun when it comes to the election. And I would definitely say I know from many folks that voting early has not normally been what we do. But if there's any year, any time to make that change, we need to win in early voting and we need to win on the day of the election. Make it too big to possibly rig. All right, getting into the XRP civil war, as I had kind of talked about a little bit. Remember on Monday, Chris Larson of Ripple had gone out and he had donated over $10 million worth of XRP to the Kamala Harris presidential campaign, making him the largest crypto advocate supporting the left in the 2024 election, actually the largest crypto advocate by a large portion. Now, what my little guess is on this is that I think they're playing both sides. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse endorses crypto lawyer in race against Senator Warren. Brad Garlinghouse has made massive donations towards primarily Republican and conservative-leaning super PACs. And in that way, it seems as if they've kind of each gone off and supported one side. We've got Chris Larson supporting the left, and we've got Brad Garlinghouse supporting the right, and even going directly at some of the untouchable Democrats in the form of Elizabeth Warren. And so Brad Garlinghouse and other crypto executives have directly contributed to John Deaton's Senate run, and Ripple has funded one of the PACs supporting him. And Brad Garlinghouse stated in an October 22 X post, so just yesterday, that he is enthusiastically and wholeheartedly supporting Deaton's Senate run against incumbent Elizabeth Warren. The Ripple CEO cited the lawyer's work advocating for XRP holders and the entire crypto industry in court. John Deaton has been a relentless advocate for the XRP army, aka XRP family, and the entire crypto industry. Meanwhile, his opponent, Senator Warren, spreads misinformation and lies about crypto. I endorse John enthusiastically and wholeheartedly in his run for Senate. For those of you in a position to do so, I encourage you to donate to his campaign as I have. Whether it's $10 or $100, it all counts. And most importantly, vote for him if you're in Massachusetts. And so, this endorsement seemed unsurprising to many on social media, as Garlinghouse, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen, and Ripple chief legal officer Stuart Alberti donated to Deaton's campaign. This is where it gets even more confusing. Remember, Chris Larsen is the one donating to Kamala Harris. But he's also donating to Republicans trying to unseat Elizabeth Warren. The reason that I said I have a bit of a conspiracy theory going on here is because they're playing both sides. And if we want to think about it, remember last week where there was that really, really big and important date for an appeal from the SEC to go in against XRP? And they missed the deadline. And because they missed the deadline, there are actually courts now that are considering whether the SEC appeal is valid and considering entirely dismissing the SEC appeal. Well, the news of Chris Larsen's $10 million donation to the Kamala Harris campaign came one day before the SEC failed to meet the deadline for their appeal against Ripple Labs. That seems like a heck of a coincidence. If you make a $10 million donation to a political candidate a day before a very, very important deadline for you in regards to a really politically minded use of the judicial system is set to go through, would you not start to wonder? And so that is something that I would highly, highly recommend that folks consider in regards to what's occurring with XRP at the moment. We saw a massive donations go into the Kamala Harris campaign. Those donations all occurred right before the SEC was planning on filing an appeal against Ripple Labs. That appeal came in late and most likely will be dismissed by any court as being past the deadline. And we know that the SEC just so happens to be very, very, very well inside of the pockets of the deep state and the leftist globalist agenda. If we were to take all these things into consideration, I would start to feel as if there's a very solid argument that what Chris Larsen did was a bribe. He bribed the left, and he bribed them with $10 million of XRP. Now, this is, of course, a conspiracy theory, and that disclaimer, of course, is very, very important to put out there. I cannot prove this in any form or fashion. I'm not trying to create any type or in any way defaming the name of Chris Larsen or anything else of that nature. I'm just stating that if anybody were to look at the situation from outside and were to consider that these donations were made at a very, very specific time, a very important time for the company making the donation or the executive officer of the company to be making a donation, and for suddenly the SEC to be unable to place their appeal in time, which for those curious, the SEC did about 24 hours after the appeal deadline had passed. The SEC then actually filed an appeal. Too late. But maybe it was too late on purpose because they just got a bunch of money. All it would take is a little bit of call over to the SEC and say, hey, don't you think you lost a few pieces of paper? Maybe you're just not ready to make the deadline. Now that donation changes from a matter of freedom of speech to a matter of, well, is the price right? And so that is something that is definitely going through my head. And I have got a lot of different, very odd dates that all seem to be lining up at this point. And we have a lot of oddities in regards to the Ripple Labs team's decision on who they're supporting. So Chris Larson is out here supporting and contributing money to John Deaton, a Republican running against Elizabeth Warren, who is, for some reason, a golden child of the Democrat Party. Not quite certain why, but for some reason she is. And so we have got him and the rest of the executives of Ripple Labs donating directly towards people running against key Democrat senators, while also contributing large amounts of money to the top of the Democrat ticket, while we have the other co-founder of Ripple Labs donating money to small Republicans, small Democrats that are pro-crypto all across the board, and donating money to the Donald Trump campaign. I honestly have to wonder if this is not just XRP, Ripple Labs, just playing a balancing game, going, hey, all we got to do is just keep giving money to one, keep giving money to the other, and maybe we'll manage to get through this election season without having stepped too hard on any politician's toes. Maybe we can even get through this and not have to keep dealing with the SEC. And yes, Musical Lady, it feels like a coordinated plan of the error of an important deadline missed. It does. It seems as if they missed the deadline on purpose. We're talking about a three-letter bureaucracy that has billions of dollars of funding. The SEC has billions of dollars. You're telling me with all that money, you can't get your shit done on time? If they were paying me that kind of money, you would be darn certain that I would have my work provided ahead of time, properly done every single time, because you do not in any way look that big of a gift horse in the mouth. But they didn't. And maybe it's because there was another gift horse that had about $10 million in its mouth that they were paying a little bit more attention to, as opposed to actually getting the job done. Musical Lady could be a breakout of XRP coming up with this appeal being late. Musical Lady, there could be, and it's really going to come down, though, to the lower courts and the higher courts actually ruling that the SEC's appeal is no longer viable. Right now, we're kind of in that gray area where the SEC deadline was not met. The court deadline, I should say, was not met by the SEC, which means the appeal is invalid, but no court has rendered it invalid yet. And so when we get that news, which we undoubtedly will, I would imagine, we'll get the news stating that the appeal is no longer valid and the SEC has got to go ahead and drop the issue. When we get that news, we're going to see a big breakout on the price of XRP. Naturally, that's extremely good news. That means they have crossed another hurdle. We're likely going to see a huge breakout. And so that would be the point I'm waiting for, Musical Lady. When they start to talk about it actually being dismissed, we're going to see this change. This right now, this 52-cent XRP is going to change rapidly when we see that that court ruling. Mr. Bill says, Zester, what's on your lip? Actually, Mr. Bill, I'm letting it grow out because people in the community seem to be under the belief that I cannot grow any facial hair. And so we're going to let it keep going. I know the camera doesn't do a great job with it, but we're going to let it go for a little bit just to let everybody see what Zester with a little bit of facial hair looks like. But what's up, Mr. Bill? Kukla, Zester, what is your take on the upcoming interview with Joe Rogan and Trump? That I'm actually looking forward to in a very, very, very big way. One reason being that Joe Rogan is going to ask Trump questions that no one else would. Questions that I want answers to. Like, will you release information on this? Will you release information on that? What do you think about this? Joe Rogan is going to have a conversation like you and I and an average everyday American would love to be able to have with our president. And that I love. What I love even more is that we are having a back and forth between Kamala Harris stating that she wants to be on the show and Joe Rogan saying that he really is not interested in hearing anything from her. And so I really hope that we actually get both of them. I want Trump to go on Friday because for those that are curious, Friday of this week is the expected day that Donald Trump is going to go on the Joe Rogan Experience. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I'm hoping it's longer than an hour. I'm hoping that we get 2 hours, 3 hours of Joe Rogan sitting and chatting with President Trump. I know that's a lot of time for Trump to take out of his campaign schedule, but I believe it is worthwhile. And what would be even better would be for us to get a Kamala Harris interview with Joe Rogan next week, because that would be the clearest and best indication to the American people possible of how big of a difference there is between these two candidates. Donald Trump is a real person. Now, love him, like him, hate him, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's real. Donald Trump is himself when he is out there and speaking. He doesn't cut corners. He doesn't obfuscate at all. He's real. Kamala Harris is not. And an interview and a sit-down conversation with Joe Rogan is going to make that distinction extremely clear to everyone willing to listen. It is going to be huge. Now, if we just get to see Donald Trump on the Joe Rogan Experience, that's still going to be awesome. I am more excited for that than any other rally, speech, interview. No other person can have a conversation with Trump besides Joe Rogan that I would consider to be as valuable. Just because Joe Rogan is not the smartest dude. Joe Rogan is not the most informed. What Joe Rogan is he's an open-minded and he's real. And Donald Trump is open-minded and he's real. That is a conversation the American people need to hear. We deserve that. We deserve every political candidate having to go on and talk to someone like Joe Rogan about what they plan to do for our nation so that we can see them without the glitz, without the glamour, without the teleprompters, without the aides directing them all over the stage. It's real. And so, fingers crossed that it definitely happens. It is supposed to. It has been loosely confirmed on Friday. We will see Donald Trump on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan stated in the past that he would not have on a presidential candidate if he did not also have the other presidential candidate on. That was what Joe had said a year or so ago. If he's changed his opinion on that one, we're not certain. And so I would kind of expect from Joe Rogan's character that he would want to have Kamala on right after. All right, though, I saw a good one here that I was missing. Fiery Preacher. I have a question about how to get my XRP out of KuCoin. I live in the US, so I can't validate my account. And now it's saying I have to withdraw, but it's not letting me do that. Fiery Preacher, what happened here is that all right, so KuCoin was issued a cease and desist by the SEC. Right back to that same agency that I talk about way too often because, well, they stick their sticky fingers in way too many dangerous places. And so KuCoin was told by the SEC that they were no longer allowed to continue providing services to U.S. residents. This was back in about 2021, I believe. And what KuCoin did was they said, well, crap, that's a lot for business. And they started sending out emails and notifications saying, hey, you need to withdraw your funds. Hey, you need to withdraw your funds. Yada, yada, yada. I, Fiery Preacher, have accounts from a variety of different exchanges that did the same thing that I never got to. I didn't get to them in time. I didn't remember that I had crypto there, etc., etc. What you're now going to have to do, Fiery Preacher, is you're going to have to actually go through KuCoin customer service and the KuCoin ticketing system. And so when you go in and it told you that you have to withdraw, and it said, well, but you're not allowed to withdraw. It then also gave you on that little pop-up, it gave you, is there a problem with this? And it would have been hyperlinked. They would have said something of that nature. It could have been different verbiage. But essentially, you would click on it, and it's going to send you through the support system. This is going to be a pain in the butt, Fiery Preacher. I'm going to go ahead and let you know that. It's going to be a pain. You're going to have to go through the support system. You're going to have to provide them with the information that validates that it's truly your account. And then you're going to have to provide them with an XRP wallet for them to send your funds to. Now, there are a few caveats here. They may have liquidated your XRP for something like Ethereum or Bitcoin. They may have done that. If they did, you may get paid out in a different cryptocurrency, which I know is not probably what you're looking forward to. And that is not always the case. You probably with XRP are okay, but this is going to be a time-consuming experience. You need to go back through, you need to try to log in, and you need to start through the ticket system. And you need to just continually state that it is yours, that is my XRP, it is on the account, I will verify my identity, and here is the wallet that I want it withdrawn to. Just maintain that no matter what they state. They are going to give you your money back. They're not going to want to deal with the legal ramifications of having stolen money from a U.S. resident, a U.S. citizen. They're not going to want to. But they're also going to have to go through and essentially do a lot of checking boxes. Give them the information only through verifiable sources. Stick to their chat rooms. Have them send you emails directly from KuCoin. And just know, Fiery, you're going to get your Ripple back, but it is not going to be quick unless you are far luckier than I was. That is a great question, though. Great question. GG, what's going on in this room of yours? I haven't been in your group for a few weeks. You're not in prison. No, I promise I am not, GG. I moved to a new place, and now I am having to decorate and plan things out. And so don't worry, the walls are not padded. Matter of fact, they're particularly sturdy concrete. Yeah, Joker Joe, they've had 8 years to get everything ready to catch all the election shenanigans, and I'm looking forward to lots of perp walks. I sure hope so as well, Joker. There are so many out there that have been lying and stealing from the American people. Charlene Hart says to you, lost me at hyperlink. Hyperlink, Charlene, is whenever you see inside of anything a like blue highlighted text. You see like blue highlighted text and you click on it and it takes you to a website. That's a hyperlink. Same thing when you see anything like this on Cointelegraph. I click on suggested and I get taken to another article. That was a hyperlink. Hey, that is not a bad idea. Gary says I just need to go ahead and write vote Trump all over the background, and that would add some color. That's not a bad idea, Gary. Nana Anna, how far away are you from Pops? I am about 1 minute and 30 seconds in the truck. And about half that time is a matter of getting in the truck and getting back out of the truck. And so I am insanely close. I could walk there in probably about 7 or 8 minutes. And the vast majority of that time would be just because there's a very large hill between us. And that hill is, well, not something to look forward to running up. All right, let's get to the next one, though. This is something we had covered way, way back. Remember that poor U.S. citizen, actually former IRS agent that had been being held by the Nigerian government as a patsy for their complaints in regards to cryptocurrency and their rapidly inflating national currency. Well, luckily, Mr. Tigran Gambaryan has finally been allowed freedom. And so, Nigerian government has dropped all charges against Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan, who has been detained in prison in Nigeria for more than 7 months. Remember, this is a U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen was held by the Nigerian government with no legal anything to support it for 7 months, and the Biden administration did absolutely nothing about it. And during that time, Gambaryan essentially went through and dropped massive amounts of weight, and in many cases, and from many reports, had many days in detention in the Nigerian prisons where he was very, very close to dying. Nigeria rejected Gambaryan's bail twice. And yes, a former U.S. IRS agent. And, well, needless to say, they never really had an excuse for it. They used him as nothing more than a patsy, a fall guy for the government to be able to blame their current economic problems. Apparently, they realized that wasn't working. The people of Nigeria did not believe them and did not in any way think that it was cryptocurrency's fault for why their economy sucked. And now he is finally free. I am very, very happy for him and his family. This is something I have been covering now for about 5 months. At that point, he had just recently been put in custody. Now he is finally able to get out. Now, everything about this is just something that we have covered previously, where any government is using cryptocurrency as the fall guy. If they've mismanaged their money, they blame cryptocurrency. Look at Nigeria, look at Venezuela, and heck, even look at the United States of America, where we have senators like good old Warren over here who are saying that cryptocurrency is allowing for massive degrees of money laundering and allowing for massive degrees of criminal activity to pervade U.S. society, something that science and logic do not support in any form or fashion. But it's a quality narrative to scare the sheep away from crypto. They say crypto's for criminals. It's a nice way of you going and saying, well, if crypto's for criminals, well, I'm not a criminal. I'm not going to participate. And in that way, the same thing that Nigeria did to Tigran, we have been seeing done by our own lawmakers now for years. All right. Solana hits a record versus Ethereum. There is a massive, massive boom going on right now in Solana with meme coins, everybody's favorite gambling method. And so for those that are hearing a lot of different things in regards to different meme coins that are skyrocketing, you're hearing about the guy that just became a millionaire in a day or 2 days. Those type of things currently are going on the Solana blockchain in regards to the different meme coins. We covered this actually during the last Solana meme coin craze, made a few videos. I know that for many, it's not something that's of particular interest, but it's an important thing for people to be aware of, because what usually comes in right with any meme craze is the scam craze. And so please be on the lookout for folks going out there and screaming that they've got the next 1000x Solana meme coin. You're going to hear it. It's going to happen. All right. Now we have got Stripe. Stripe in a $1.1 billion acquisition deal for stablecoin platform Bridge. Bridge, which has raised $54 million in funding, previously said it aspired to become the blockchain version of Stripe, operating a global system in which other developers could integrate. Where this becomes even more interesting is Chainlink and Swift are actually a part of a partnership with Stripe. And so Swift financial system, the current current major money moving system around the globe, processing many billions of dollars per day, is going ahead and making a stand. And this is something I think is particularly interesting for all of us that are keeping a close eye on BRICS and BRICS Pay and what's going on in regards to the BRICS nations. It seems as if there's actually beginning to form kind of an opposition group in the blockchain and tech industry of major companies and major players that are going to try and compete. This is one where we don't have much information now. We really only know that we're seeing some major financial groups in the form of Stripe, Swift, Chainlink, and actually a fairly long list of others, including major banking institutions and the like, that are saying that they are going forth and trying to build the new financial system. This is one where we're going to learn far more in the coming days, coming weeks, etc. Right now, all we know is that this really is the first time that we have seen Swift trying to make a play towards moving towards blockchain. Too little, too late. Absolutely nothing more than just a show for the cameras. Either could be true. We're going to have to find out. But these are some very big names, and this is a lot of money. And these are extremely talented developers. Chainlink has some of the best developers on the planet. And Sergey Nazarov, the creator, is potentially one of the most brilliant people in the entire industry. Very often is he overlooked. Chainlink just isn't as flashy as a lot of the other projects. It just doesn't have that pizzazz that some of the other ones do. It's a boring industry. And really, their focus as a business is boring. They provide data and API integrations. And that seems like a very boring topic. But in the future of finance, in our future financial system, what they do is insanely important. It's the ability to be able to connect the price of gold on active markets with the price of gold in a tokenized form. It's the ability to keep up with price fluctuations in housing in a certain area with the real world, with the real world tokenized version of maybe said house deed. Things of that nature are Chainlink's job. Chainlink is very much kind of the guys that sell their Levi's and the guys making the shovels and renting out the rooms in regards to the gold crazes and the gold rushes of the past. If we wanted to kind of classify them in cryptocurrency, they're not digging for gold in the gold rush. They're providing the things necessary for other folks to dig for gold. All right, back to the next one. U.S. elections are only 2 weeks away. Analysis company shares what to expect in Bitcoin and Ethereum until the election. And so this is a fun one that I wanted to make certain and actually share for everyone. And so I am posting that into the chat. But essentially, it is covering a lot of what I had talked about previously, is that crypto markets are extremely excited for a Donald Trump presidency. Crypto markets are extremely hesitant for a Kamala Harris presidency. But there's a caveat. There is a general belief that a Kamala Harris presidency would result in massive inflation. Massive inflation tends to benefit the price of cryptocurrencies in the same way that it benefits the price of gold and silver. And that is where there's a little bit of a debate going on. Kamala Harris being elected means we're going to continue to face massive inflation and the economy is going to continue to struggle, which may force many investors into Bitcoin, gold, etc. On the other hand, Donald Trump is planning on actually creating a regulatory framework and providing support to the crypto industry, which means for many folks, they view that as being extremely positive. That's where there's a slight debate. Ultimately, Kamala Harris would be bad for cryptocurrency. She would be bad for all of us. in regards to the value of our dollar and our investments, no matter where they're placed. All right, though. For our very, very, very last one, just because I talk about it all the time, and then I'm going to go ahead and bid everyone a quality evening until I see you again at 8 p.m. But how real world asset tokenization is redefining unique markets like air rights, Legos, tree plantations, and more. And real world tokenization is something that I am talking about a lot because it is an extremely important thing. This market is expected to grow to multiple trillions in a matter of the next 5 to 6 years. Right now, real world asset tokenization is essentially a market that is not worth more than maybe a couple $100 million. And even that's speculative. In the coming 6 years, it is Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, everybody. Arkham Intelligence in terms of crypto side, Kathy Woods in terms of crypto side, Michael Saylor in terms of crypto side, and even the traditional finance are saying trillions of dollars, and it's coming in the next couple of years. And that is something that we all need to be paying very close attention to. It's going to happen. They're going to tokenize absolutely everything. They will tokenize your debt. They will tokenize your trees. They will tokenize your whiskey and energy, your air rights. They will tokenize it all. Because once you tokenize something, you have made it liquid and you have made it into something that has a monetary value. If it can be traded and it can be easily traded back and forth, that liquidity provides for an entirely new market opportunity. This is something to keep very, very, very close attention to. Currently, about $185 billion worth of real-world assets have been tokenized. Stable coins are accounting for over $170 billion of this market. Stable coins are Tether, USDC. It's $1. They have $1 in a bank account, and they made a tokenized form that allows you to be able to trade back and forth and operate more efficiently. Right now, that is the vast majority of tokenization. The vast, vast majority. And so when you start to consider there's only about $15 billion worth of real world assets that have even been tokenized at this point, and then we consider maybe a 3 trillion, a 5 trillion, a $10 trillion market share, that is going to be an exponential rise. That is where certain companies like, say, Ripple Labs or any other company that decides to really pursue the tokenization of real world assets is going to have a huge upside coming. A huge upside. And so I'm going to also share this link for everyone that might be curious. And then I'm going to go get a bit of a break before we hang out again at 8 p.m. Joker Joe, Maricopa County has already put out a statement saying it will take them at least 13 days to get the results. Joker, I'm hoping it is so overwhelming that it is not even a matter of debate, and we can go ahead and close it before Maricopa even needs to start voting. Maybe I'm overly optimistic, but I really think we have the capabilities of doing that. It's judging by the prediction markets and the current polls and the current poll watchers. It seems as if we are on a heck of a momentum-filled drive on the Republican side towards this election. But we can't let that slow us down. We cannot. Yep. La filet de assurances. I just can't wait to use cryptos and bypass our dear banks soon. Absolutely. Absolutely assurances. I am looking forward and have been looking forward to that day now for going on a decade. It's going to happen. We are going to finally be free. All right, though, guys. I will see you again at 8 p.m. Love you all. I hope you have had an amazing Trump day. And if you can't make it to Whiskey and Wisdom tonight, I look forward to chatting with you again on Friday. Peace, y'all.